There we are. We are live. Another edition of TigerBait Live. TigerBait Live. Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com, along with Buddy Songy, Baton Rouge sports talk legend. And we're just about 11 days away from LSU Florida State kickoff. Listen a little bit to Brian Polian this evening. Talk about some of his what he's looking at and what he's excited about, and we can talk about that on tonight's show. Of course, we're brought to you by Pride Roofing, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. We'll talk about them a little bit later in the show. And we've got Jamboree action starting in Baton Rouge in the state of Louisiana tomorrow. So we're going to be out and busy. Hopefully the weather cooperates. We're going to be bringing you a lot of high school prospect footage in the next 72 hours. So we've got a lot coming your way on TigerBait.com and a lot to discuss tonight. So welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Michael. Well, he's got his Van Halen shirt on, so and I've got my Breckenridge, Colorado. There is some green, of course, the Masters hat. Everybody loves these hats. How about Rufino offering me $150 and some gummies for that Titleist purple and gold hat? But listen, folks, I'm in a really good place right now because we have seen this LSU football team from what they look like in the bowl game to everybody telling Brian Kelly, you need to be doing this and this and this. And, of course, he had to assemble a staff and finish out December recruiting, then finish out February. Then we saw spring. Then we saw a transfer portal. We saw additions and new recruits come in. And then we start to see practice. And I think Brian Holland with WVLA said a great thing today. I was talking about how nice it's been for us to have access. And Brian, I thought, said it best. He is throwing a wishbone and showing that he wants the trust of the fan base. This is not just for us. We are the conduit to let those people out there see what Colby looks like, and Major Burns and all the other studs, the quarterbacks and all. So kudos to not having a lot of paranoia. We battled the rain, but it was appreciably better this year for us than last year, even though there's been a ton of it. And I am as excited as can be because I haven't been this excited about a season since 19. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do those kind of things because that's a once-in-a-lifetime team. But I do see the pieces all coming together. And, Mike, you've said this on a couple occasions, and this is something way totally different. The fact that just about everybody is full go, it almost looks like that cloud, that injury cloud and karma has been lifted. Now, we know there's going to be injuries as part of the game, but, man, going into the first game in a camp, this is the best I've seen as far as physical, mental, and psychological on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, because unless something happens between now and then, and of course, next week is game week. So you're pulling legs back. You're pulling back. So unless something happens Saturday, or between then or something crazy next week, and things can happen because that's what was happening. The freak injuries the previous two seasons and the off season, spring, fall camp was something we've never seen before. But as of now, your biggest storyline as far as a missing player is John Emery in 2 games, and so knock on wood. No linemen missing on either side of the ball. All your receivers are healthy. Jack Besh had multiple receptions in the scrimmage last Saturday. And so they've got to be absolutely excited about that. Now, Brian Kelly last night did say that, a lot of that is because of NCAA mandates and on how they practice. But also, too, that isn't brand new this year. I mean, look at the rash injuries that LSU had last year and the year before. And particularly at athlete spots where you don't see those numbers. So that could be a full-blown karma swing. I don't know. But like you said, there's a lot of reason to be excited. Florida State Duquesne on the ACC network Saturday afternoon. Buddy will be checking that out while I'll be out at practice for our last bit of access before game week. Once they get into practice on Monday, there is no more media access during the game week, which is good. That's fine. And so that's a change. And the other change is tomorrow night at his coach's show, there's only questions sent in advance. No microphone, no live questions. And so I know there's a little table that likes to sit up front that's going to be different for them.
Well, and look, the radio show has historically been Wednesday at 7 o'clock at TJ Ribs, and it will be at TJ Ribs tomorrow night, and moving that to Thursday. Press conference moved to noon at the Lawton Room in Tiger Stadium, and the fact that he moved that up, I'm going to be able to go over there. You know, it's always hard for me to go and then especially if it's at 12:30 because you're running into the 1 o'clock start on the radio show. But I'll have a chance to go out there and see a lot of people we hadn't seen in a long time. But folks, you have reason to be excited. And, you know, I'm hearing it from everybody, Mike. Mississippi State, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Florida State. Everybody's undefeated. This is the most wonderful time of the year, not Christmas, not holidays, but everybody's undefeated. Everybody's thinking that team that they love so much with that heart, and they live vicariously through. Man, I see the Florida State people, and no disrespect, Florida State went 5-7, and they're trying to come back with Mike Norvell, who's in year 3, and they've got some good players, but they've also lost some interior linemen. And I'd be shocked if Mason Smith, Jaquelin Roy, Makai Wingo, and Jacoby and Gilry don't have some fun 11 nights from tonight. But that being said, I think the way the offense has come around in the last week or two is giving me even a little more added optimism. And when I heard Brian Kelly say yesterday after practice, we're going to go fast, we're going to use a lot of people. I mean, I got that, like, what? Now, it's not going to be like 19 because there's no Joe Burrow on the field. But, man, when you look at the wide receivers and you look at the potential and you look at that line as you're starting to gel, this is going to be a heck of a fun season. And agreeing, because if you lay in 3.5 against the Seminoles, it's going to be 6 by game time, 5 or 6 by
Is
game
it 3.5 right now?
I think that's the latest. It's going to move up, folks.
All right, got a super chat real quick, and then I'm going to fly through some of the early folks. Guys, if you're enjoying the show, please, as always, hit the like button if you're enjoying the content here. Trey Potanth, thank you very much for the super chat. Good evening, Mike and Buddy. Not hearing much besides maybe Ramos atop the kicking, and this John Emery situation is baffling.
Well, look, academics and the exact explanation of how things went down. We know he dropped a class. He had a sick grandmother. It was a year of COVID. When you drop classes, you go from 15, 16 to 12 or whatever. You put yourself in a position that's not conducive to staying eligible.
You can't drop to part-time.
Well, no, you can't even play if you're part-time,
right.
First of all. But here's the thing. As you progress, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, you have to have X amount of hours towards your degree. And I think that's what Emory got caught up with. To be quite frankly, Noah Kane and Armani Goodwin are 1 and 2, and John Emery's going to be the 3 back sharing.
Who'd you have number 1? You had Kane?
Oh, Noah Kane, without a doubt.
Okay.
He's and then, of course, as he was saying on the kicking, we just heard Coach Polian say they like Ramos. He's got a range of 50 to 52. They still are trying to settle on kickoff and all, but look, I think that you're going to be very proud of the product that's put on the field in 11 days.
But he also said y'all been spoiled around here.
Well, and we've been saying that. I mean, you're not going to duplicate.
So that's kind of setting the stage, isn't it?
Well,
where he's kind of reducing expectations.
That's common sense.
And that's my worry. So when you start predicting LSU's record for the season, I'm real worried that field goal kicking could cost LSU a game or two, particularly when you've got how many games that you would put in the toss-up category. You know, we say it each and every show. We're like a broken record. The difference between 9-3 and 7-5 in a log jam in the West, it could be field goals in 3 or 4 games.
Well, I'm going to wait to see what this young man does in game time situations before I put a ceiling on him. Damian Ramos, redshirt freshman, number 34, and it looks like he's going to be your first PAT and field goal guy. We talk about Bramblett. He's going to punt. He's going to hold. I mentioned Peyton Todd in a report yesterday. You heard Brian Poland say he's really come a long way. Good to see that young man start to kick the ball and punt the ball much better. And Dybert and Trey Finnison, another grad transfer they brought in. By the way, possible kickoff guys.
All right. Thanks, Trey, for the super chat. Huey Lipsy with another super chat. Hey, guys, things are coming together. Coach Poling is a breath of fresh air. He shows a lot of love to his players. Yeah, we were talking about before we went live about how, he was running down the list, talking about Major Burns and several others that he just, Sage Ryan, a bunch of guys that he was extremely high on and excited about. So, look, guys like that are infectious, and and particularly a guy like Sage Ryan, who I think probably thinks that he should have been further along than he is right now. It's good when you've got coaches like that are beating your drum and behind you and wanting to bring you forward as best as they can. Big thanks for that super chat, Huey Lipsy. Al Basilla with a super chat. It would be nice to get that damn play call out on time.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Thanks, Al, for the super chat.
They asked Coach Kelly about Mike Denbrock, and he basically came out and said, I think Mike Denbrock's one of the best play callers in the country, and oh, by the way, we think a lot the same. When he said, we're going to go fast, we're going to run, boom, over the top. We're going to get the ball to 6 or 7 receivers. We're going to have 3 running backs. We're going to use the tight end. Man, you're sitting there thinking like, hey, one thing about Brian Kelly, if you haven't seen it in the film or you haven't been taking notes, you don't walk and you don't think slowly. You better know it like this or your butt's going to the bench in the back of the depth chart. And we said it, and he echoed the same thing after practice. Clean, fast, good-looking, fun. Folks, get ready. This is going to be a lot of fun. We don't know how many games they're going to win, but I certainly think they got a chance to start the season in the right way, possibly going 4-0, and that sets the table for a pretty darn good year.
Absolutely. Boy, man, the super chats are flying tonight. Man, this is crazy. Let me scroll down. I'm trying to get to them. Trucking with Casper with 9.99 super chat. Thank you very much. What's your thoughts on the possibility of a 2-quarterback system? I personally hate it and don't think it's good for the team overall. I don't think there's any coach that likes a 2-quarterback system. I know we've been sitting here thinking it's going to be Jaden Daniels, and when you start predicting that you think it's going to be Jaden Daniels, it gets the Nussmeier people upset. I know Preston got a little bit of that backlash from his show last night. Before Miles Brennan announced he was retiring from football, people were getting mad at us for not saying he was leading and the number one guy. But I will say this, I don't think there's any doubt that if Jaden Daniels does indeed end up being named the starter, that if he falters, they will not hesitate to pull him and put in Nussmeier. And if Nussmeier starts to, get a little stale or not move the team adequate enough, they'll put Daniels right back in. I mean, it could be a deal that it's ongoing. But the hope is that Daniels is effective, or if it ends up being Nussmeier. We all think it's going to be Daniels. But maybe there's a fast one gets pulled and ends up being Nussmeier. But either way, whoever it is, you hope they're the guy and they don't falter. And the only reason they're coming out is because they got dinged up and they need a series on the sideline. But even if it were to be Nussmeier, you got to believe that there would also be a package for Daniels.
Absolutely. Look, folks, both of these guys are going to play.
Yep.
You never want to say you're going to play 2 quarterbacks because it ends up not making a definitive decision. Here's what I got from a guy that went to the scrimmage and saw everything on Saturday. He says Jaden Daniels is going to start the season, but Nussmeier will have a chance, at some point possibly to be the starter, which means Nussmeier does some things better than Jaden Daniels, but Jaden Daniels has started 29 games in college football, and Nuss has never started a game in college football. So I think they're both going to play, and I think we all get hung up on it simply because this, Mike, they touch the freaking football every play. And so, as we know, Joe Burrow, I'm not ever in my lifetime going to see another Joe Burrow. But I tell you what, I think if they work this thing the right way, it's going to be fun to watch 5. It's going to be fun to watch 13.
Who did the Bengals scrimmage today? Did you see who that was?
I hadn't been keeping up.
I watched Joe Burrow's press conference.
I think the Rams,
but he looked really good. But he was talking about getting back out there and being a part of whoever they were scrimmaging today. You guys might know, but you brought his name up, so I still am looking for 2 very great tickets for Bengals versus Saints, and I'm not telling you which team I'm pulling for. That's going to be a fun night in New Orleans when the Bengals come to New Orleans. All right, let's scroll up. Thanks for the super chat, Trucker. All right, let me get to some of the opening show comments. We were way behind.
Let's go.
At 15 minutes in, let me fly. Nurse Court, Mike and Buddy, the coolest cats in town. Thank you for that. Matthew Torvik, evening guys, go Tigers. Scrolling down. Ant Marshall, our buddy with the Golden Boot podcast. Hey, fellas.
What's up, guys?
Dane Bergeron, good evening, Mike and Buddy. Kenny Futch, good evening, everyone. And so, Nurse Court, Zalance Hurd playing tomorrow night, Neville versus Sterlington. There you go. There you go. We're going to have TigerBait is going to be on the scene when Zalance announces September 1. Dane Bergeron says, I'm moving up in my musical tastes.
Hey, can I tell a little secret?
Go ahead.
Dane and I put up $50 each, folks. We buying Mike a new crystal ball. You know, Dane, look, sometimes Mike, you know, Dane made some comments about me about being, you know, close to Alzheimer's and foggy. And, you know, I kind of said, what? I didn't think I screwed up that much. But he likes to jab and he likes to have fun. And you know what, folks? That's why we've enjoyed these shows so much, because we're not going to take ourselves seriously. We want to be your eyes. We want to be your ears. We want it to be fun. And damn it, when LSU is doing well, you are living the life of Riley, and I'm going to give my first tip to the ladies for football season. Here's my scenario. Open up. The old man's going to be nervous as hell. Honey, I want those Tigers to do well, but I want to believe, but I remember last year. Well, nothing like last year. But they come in and they take care of business, and Paul drive Florida State in that second half, and I really think they will. Ladies, the next day is Labor Day. Get the old man's credit card and go buy you an outfit. This is when you take advantage of the heart in LSU. Be smart. Now, if they lose this game, don't say a lot and cook him his best meal, but you're going to have a free outfit or 2 or 3 at Town Center or wherever you shop after LSU.
Now you're going high dollar. You're going high dollar now.
After you see LSU demolish the Seminoles in the second half.
So if they lose, they got to go buy their clothes at Costco.
No, you lose, you don't buy anything.
All right, Oh Danny Girl. Hey, Mike and Buddy. We're getting close to kickoff. Yes, we are. Oh Danny Girl's one of our favorites.
She is.
Here in each and every week. Doug Knows says Blake Ruffino paid him to be here again. Man, Ruffino's
he's got some cash.
Ruffino's throwing money around like he's what's his name on Wolf of Wall Street. All right, let me scroll down and get to a bunch of you guys before we. Turd Ferguson. All right. AYS sent me here. I miss Norm McDonald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah. I go down a rabbit hole some nights on old Norm McDonald videos, I'm telling you.
One of the best.
Let's see. There he is, Blake Ruffino with a let's go. Blake's been out there to multiple practices this August camp. Check out his show. Are You Serious Sports, most nights at 7 o'clock. Here we go. Hey, Mike, update on St. Tammany Parish football field. Slidell High has brand new field turf. There you go. Pearl River is near completion, and all the parish high schools are getting upgraded turf. Well, good for St. Tammany. Now it's time for East Baton Rouge. I kind of took some jabs yesterday while we were getting our New Balance all wet, walking back to the cars after practice. You know, our buddies over at Breck field turf, that big baseball facility. How many baseball, softball fields are out there? All brand new field turf. Memorial Stadium. When the hell is that going to get done? Olympia. When's that going to get done?
Well, it's green. I drive by there a lot on Olympia. It is green, but it's probably soaking wet.
Everything's half-assed in this city, okay? You build a new Liberty High School. You got a big lot back there. You don't build a stadium. And if you did build a stadium, it'd probably have grass. You build a new Woodlawn High School, 20 years ago, build them a brand new stadium, you don't put down field turf. I think 5 of Woodlawn's first 7 games are at home. Big marquee matchups. And of course, it's raining now. We already seen the Jamboree game set for Memorial get moved to Parkview.
Yeah.
Because of no field turf. Come on, Breck. Get it together.
LSU, by the way, did.
I'm very skeptical of that nonsense when they're field turfing baseball centers like that but Memorial and Olympia just toil out there. They don't put any money in them.
Well, I understand your point, but look, bottom line is that LSU went outside yesterday on their excellent field turf. I think that's the one that U High plays on, right?
All of Ascension Parish field turf. I was out at Dutchtown seeing Ethan Fields last Thursday night. East Ascension's got it. Santa Ma's got it. Zachary's got it.
Look, I'm with you.
So I'm guessing Woodlawn will get field turf if St. George becomes a thing.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. But speaking of that, the turf out at LSU looking good. Brian Kelly, in case you missed it this week after the scrimmage over the weekend, walked in and talked about it never rains in Tiger Stadium. And they had to cut that scrimmage short. They were scheduled to go in there yesterday as well, and it rained again. So, look, you're going to have a good-looking field. And, Mike, it doesn't look like there's going to be any wear and tear from that big concert that you
I'm seeing a lot of comments today about Brian Driscoll on J-Boy's show today. What's that about?
Oh, man, let me tell you
you got, guys, I've been in the dark.
I'll give you the skinny on this.
All right.
Notre Dame guy, he goes on with Jake, and he proceeds to, and listen, the analogy fits like a glove. Nick Saban left, went to Miami, came back to Alabama. LSU fans been butthurt decades. Even though you have to thank Mark Emmert and Nick Saban for waking up this sleeping giant, right, and improving facilities. But so this guy gets in and he says, Brian Kelly had never done this. Brian Kelly's never had his team prepared. Brian Kelly's never won a big game. Oh, by the way, I'm just going to throw some stats at you real quick. Brian Kelly, 44-7, I think, in the last 5 games or so. 5 years, I mean. And he's won 40 or 41 games favored. Look, he did not win a championship. And he proceeded to call LSU a dumpster hole and all this other stuff, and said Brian Kelly wasn't a fit. And you know what it is, Mike? It's butthurt. We, along with, once again, Snake, I had to get $250 from him. We shipped 500 pounds of Boudreaux's butt paste to that writer and that guy today. Oh, geez. Really, really embarrassed himself because everything he said was like, are you kidding me? LSU's already got a better recruiting class than Notre Dame, and they have signed, well, of course, we know it's verbal commitments, but the point is that they feel the same way about Brian Kelly as most people here felt about Nick Saban, and it doesn't go away in 3 months, 6 months, 2 years. It's going to be a butthurt for 5 or 10 years, and then when LSU wins one with Brian Kelly, you're going to have to bring Dr. Phil and everybody else over there.
Yeah, I know that there's a deal about.
But he embarrassed himself.
No, but I see Notre Dame fans will do that too when they're talking about big game Brian and all that. Well, he got the maximum out of what he could get out of Notre Dame, and the reason why he took the LSU job is because the difference makers that you can get at an LSU that can put you over the top and win those playoff games that you can't get at Notre Dame.
And one other thing, he wanted the academic situation to be changed and lessened so they could get better athletes in, and Notre Dame would not budge. And trust me when I tell you, insiders have told me, that was one of the things that put Brian Kelly into talking to Scott Woodward and LSU.
And Scott Woodward's done a fantastic job of striking while the iron's hot and knowing that there's issues where a coach is at the time. The timing on Mulkey, the timing on Brian Kelly, very similar. Both guys having issues. Brian Kelly saw the writing on the wall. The NIL thing really was getting to where it was going, but the transfer portal thing. The transfer portal thing is a big issue at Notre Dame because it's not easy to transfer into Notre Dame after you've been in college for 2 or 3 years.
You get stale at a place. Sean Payton got stale with the New Orleans Saints, just like Brian Kelly got stale at Notre Dame. And Irish people, whether you want to hear it or not, the 3 F's, football, family, and food. And he said, you know what, maybe I should have moved down south a long time ago. We treat people differently. I've been in South Bend a ton, okay? The sun's never out. They don't change the clock. I'm not going to get into some of the other things. You got touchdown, Jesus and all, but relax. You're going to watch Brian Kelly. You know what I'd like to see this year, really? I wanted to say this. I'd love to see LSU and Notre Dame play in a bowl game this freaking year.
Think about those two Notre Dame teams he coached that beat LSU. They had no business beating LSU.
Oh, are you kidding?
Because Les Miles was an idiot.
No.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Okay, look, I know, but he did win a national championship and played for another one. But he certainly had some quirky.
Dane Bergeron, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, buddy. It's all in fun listening to your show yesterday on the way home from Ponchatoula. Glad you gave props to Mason Smith on the show.
Mason Smith, I still cannot believe LSU has not gotten a Coke Zero deal with him. The only LSU football player to ever wear zero. You drink Coke Zero like it's going out of style. And Mason Smith is going to be in the back. Florida State Seminole fans, I know you think we're homers and just throw out stuff here just to piss you off. Number 0 is going to be in your backfield all night long. Sing it.
Eric, no, I want grass, no field turf, please. Eric, I get it. I'm kind of with you. But the cost per high school to maintain a football field is a minimum of about $35,000 a year and up to 55 or 60. It's expensive to maintain a football field at a public school.
When Brett gets some leadership on
the initial outlay of field turf is expensive. I grant you that. But then it opens it up for multiple events that you can do on. You can have soccer games there. You can have band competitions, field hockey, whatever they're doing now. Rugby, lacrosse. I mean, St. Thomas More and them got lacrosse. When you go out to St. James, they've got field turf. There's a reason why they're all going to it. And to say nothing about the bad weather that we face almost every September. And, I've talked to Marcus Randall about it before. And I'm the guy who's always complaining about football fields at high school. But there's a reason why a lot of the Baton Rouge area guys like him that have grass fields at home choose to take road games in September because they know the weather in September is going to destroy their football field. And if they're lucky, it might be decent by November if they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Man, I couldn't believe when I went and saw Will Campbell after his junior year when they lost to Karen Crow in the playoffs when Karen Crow won the state title, what Karen Crow's football field looked like. It's just it's very difficult to maintain. And those public schools just, they've got to get the outlay one time and get it done. Trucking with Casper with another super chat. What is our biggest upset win of the year?
Oh, man, I'm not ready to predict any wins, but I just, let's go game by game. But there, this is a question I think LSU fans want to hear, your answer.
I don't think the point spread's enough on only but one of them to say would be an upset.
But those point spreads will change once you get into the weekly play. How many games will LSU be favored in this season?
At Texas A&M, maybe. Is the biggest upset win of the year. Favored?
Yeah. Will they be favored 8 or 12 games?
6 or 7.
Okay. Well, then, you're thinking 7 and 5. I'm thinking they're going to be favored in about.
I'm going 8 and 4, but I'm looking at Florida, at A&M, you're not going to be favored in those.
Trucker, we appreciate you. I need a little time to see him play before I can actually predict an upset. But there's going to be plenty of opportunity.
Yep. Bayou Bingle might wait till the new Prairieville High School is built. Absolutely. One of my best friends' kids has been at Dutchtown, and they will be at Prairieville when that opens up. And I've seen what that school is going to look like. But all the Ascension Parish schools have gotten it, and I see it saves knees, but they're using that new stuff now. It's not nearly as bad on that. All right, guys. Please forgive me. We're behind on some of these. Stephen Cubbett with a super chat. Who is going to be LSU's best player this year? Butte or Smith? I'm going Butte.
Well, and they released another all preseason SEC with the coaches today. And, of course, Kayshawn made the first team and B.J. Ojulari made the first team. Listen, I think that's hard to predict because you never know. You just mentioned the 2 stars. We know Butte's done it now. Is he going to stay healthy the whole year? He's got to stay healthy. This is his money year. He needs to have a Jamar Chase type of year, winning the Biletnikoff and putting himself in the top 10, top 12 range first round. And so they're smart enough to know Butte is going to get doubled. They're smart enough to know that Malik Neighbors and the rest of the guys, they're Jack Besh and all of them, Jeray Jenkins, man, you can go on and on. There's 6 or 7.
Who's number 2 in receptions in the yards? Is it Jenkins or Neighbors?
I have to go Neighbors.
Or is there a chance they're number 1 and Butte's second?
Yeah, and don't forget Besh now. Besh is going to be mighty reliable. This is what's going to be so much fun. By the way, we just want to make sure that everybody remembers Mike is fired up tonight. But, hey, folks, we take great pride in
Well, someone gave me a layup when I start complaining about the
Well, but I was just
and by the part of the reason why I do that is because I talk to these high school coaches, and I hear them. And what they're dealing with, I know there's a high school out here right now trying to negotiate for use of a stadium. It really is bad what some of the local public schools are dealing with. You know, what Breck does to them. You know, at Olympian Memorial, they get 0 of concessions. They pay Breck for each game $1,000+ it's really a bad deal. So go ahead.
I was just going to say we take great pride in the content that we've been trying to give you. At some point in the show tonight, we will go through the depth chart. I've got it pretty much memorized as to who is in the 2 deep. But folks, we've had a lot of people who have done business with Mike and Alex, and I want to just tell you about the personal standpoint of it. They care about you. They want you to be happy. They take great pride in everybody that represents them as a company. Ever since the acquisition of Crown Metals, the whole game has changed. You know the deal they have set up with Mike. It doesn't matter if you're in Lake Charles, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Mobile, wherever. They're going to take care of you. Great people. And the bottom line is if you've got to sharpen your pencil, this has happened with tens of people. I want to do business with them, but they're a little high. Talk to them. They want your business because they know they're going to make you happy. And I know, Mike, you can hit on that. But we had to make sure that people understand we wouldn't be here without Mike and Alex. And
well, let's go ahead and hear from them real quick.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Michael.
I'm Alex.
At Pride Roofing, we handle commercial and residential work.
TPO, shingle, and metal inventory. We got it.
Property still in disarray from the recent hurricanes and hailstorms. Insurance claims?
No problem. But you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer at TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Call 855-PRIDE-16. Se habla español.
And there you go, Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez. Of course, they're the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. Give them a call, 855-PRIDE-16. Whether you have a commercial need for a roof or residential, tell them you heard about them on TigerBait, and with your free roof inspection, no obligation, because you said TigerBait when they come out to give you your roof inspection, they're going to email me your name and address, email address, for you to get free TigerBait Premium for a year. And so go check that out. And for the rest of you who don't need a roof, we still want to have you as a TigerBait Premium subscriber. After the show, go subscribe. You can try us out for 1 week for $1 and absolutely choose the annual package versus the monthly. You get 3 months free essentially when you do that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Once again, give Mike and Alex an opportunity. You will not be disappointed. And you know the other thing I add, Mike, you want to do business with people, A, who you like, and B, people who you respect. And you will like these people and respect these people. And if Brian Kelly needed somebody to do his roof, he takes great pride in the job he does. So do these folks right here.
All right, guys, let me scroll down and get to some more of your comments. All right. Brandon Reese, if Brian Kelly ends up winning a title in the next 2 or 3 years, that puts pressure on Marcus Freeman and Jimbo Fisher. Freeman because he replaced Kelly, and Fisher because he signed a similar deal. And so, yeah. I look at A&M. I think they're 8-4. A&M ain't going anywhere.
I don't.
Have they named a starter yet?
What's that?
Have they named a starter at A&M yet? And
no,
I missed it?
But Max is lagging behind. Look, I don't think as a true LSU fan, you should put a time limit on this thing. Everything this man has done has been meticulous, structured, organized, and in a direction that everybody that works with him or plays for him understands and realizes. And you don't ever know when you're going to get the breaks and when you're going to get a special difference maker. We know how important the quarterback is. We're just starting to figure out who's going to start in this first game. And the fact that the last 3 LSU coaches have all won national championship, let's grow with this team. And before we get to chapter 25, let's enjoy the first couple of chapters before we start waiting to see a rainbow after 2 or 3 years. You need another couple years of recruiting, Mike, to get the kind of players he wants in here. But he's done a fantastic job in the last 6 weeks.
American Patriot with a super chat. What's the scouting report on Florida State? I haven't heard anything. How is their quarterback situation?
Quarterback can run. He is a guy that is going to put pressure on LSU in space. They got some skilled people, got a couple of big, tall wide receivers, but they have been decimated, and their offensive line has gotten some injuries already in camp. So you figure LSU ought to pin their ears back and go after them. And, of course, we know, Mike, Matt House, the D.C., and Brian Kelly have said they want to take away the football. So you've heard me repeat over and over, only 13 takeaways last year. Wouldn't shock me to see LSU in the 20s or 25 takeaways this year.
Doug Knows with a super chat says, I missed his first one. I apologize. LSU going more up-tempo than in the past from what y'all seen at practice? He's asking. I like the no-look to the sideline we saw last year.
Yeah, I don't, everybody with these look with me's, I think we got to wait to see what they're really going to – listen, they have given us access, but they're not going to show you everything that they're going to do in a game because, one media yahoo, whether it's me or Mike or whoever else, is going to leak that, and then you get cut out and paranoid and all that. But I think that this is not just going to be plain vanilla ice cream served up in the Superdome. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we've had unbelievable access. We've been to several practices where we've had the entire practice. Yesterday was supposed to be the same, but because of rain, it was cut short. But I think even had we got the whole thing, items like you're just mentioning, we would not have seen. As much as we've seen, there's so much more we haven't even gotten an inkling of. What Brian Kelly has done by giving us the access he's given us a lot, but he's actually given us nothing, which it works. And so kudos to him. We're happy, and he actually, the days we go in, he's not showing us anything that gives us any inkling of what their play calling is going to be, their tempo, none of it. So,
and they've got to make a decision on who's going to be the guy that gets the ball. And once they get that, and Mike was expecting it. A lot of us were expecting it. We talked about it. There's really no advantage for him telling. But on the other hand, a lot of people think that the guys know with the reps. And as I said, people could say it's what's going on. But I think once Nuss got tweaked with the ankle a little bit, Jaden got more reps with the ones and took the ball and asserted the number one. Now, we'll see when he names that starting quarterback. Most people are leaning towards Jaden because of the 29 starts versus 0. But this is going to be fun to see how all of that develops. That's why I'm not trying to give a record or anything. Let's put some stuff on the field, legitimate stuff, not in practice before we start talking about how good they're going to be. But I'll tell you what, watching them the other day, that team is sharp. They are clean. They are crisp. And if you mess up in a drill, you're going to get a good old-fashioned butt chewing. Am I right?
yeah, who was it yesterday? Was it Steeples?
I don't want to say. It was the true freshman corner.
No, but who was the coach screaming? Was it Cooks?
I think both DB coaches were.
Yeah, they were getting it yesterday. All right, guys, let me scroll down and get some of these. Guys, if you're enjoying the show, please do us a favor, hit the like button. And, of course, as always, hit the subscription button and the notification bell. We've got so much coming your way on our YouTube channel. Buddy and I were talking earlier today. I'm not going to reveal it yet, but we're talking about adding an additional show. And, of course, now that high school football season is in play, we're going to be loading additional recruiting content to the YouTube channel. So our YouTube channel is growing by leaps and bounds. And that's another thing. If Look at the number of subscribers we've got on our YouTube channel. I've got several vacancies, additional spots for you to have your business in front of all those eyeballs. Shoot me an email, Mike Scar, MIKESCAR, at cox.net, COX.net. If you're interested in advertising on our TigerBait YouTube channel, I think we can help you grow your business or your service or whatever it is you do. Let me scroll down and see what else we got here. Nurse Court says, yeah, Mike, no star name yet at Texas A&M, but it looks like King unless something changes. I thought it was going to be Hayes King, but I know some other people thought Max was having a good early week last week. Let's see. Top 2 running backs will be asked Mark Chambers.
Oh, it's
That's
no
easy.
doubt about it. Right now, it's Noah Kane and Armani Goodwin. And don't sleep on 27, Josh Williams. Of course, Emory, look, we saw that, and you shot some film one day at practice, and, all of the duties that we do. And so finally, about 10 o'clock at night, I'm watching the film, and just a simple freaking handoff, and Emory fumbles. Now, we know he's suspended for the first 2 games, but you're not going to get on the field without taking care of the football. That's the quickest way to sit down, whether you throw an INT as a quarterback or fumble as a running back. We know he's got to catch the ball better out the backfield. We know he's got to stick his face in there and pick up the blitz. We also know if he could play like he did against Alabama in the 2020 game, he would look like a 5-star. So it's all up to John, but right now it's Noah Kane 21, Armani Goodwin 22, and of course nobody sleeps on Josh Williams 27. He's always there, whatever they need from him.
Dane Bergeron with another super chat. He said, add the additional show. Tiger Shark will pay for it. Kenny would love to know that Dane's spending his marketing budget on for him. But yeah, Kenny and our dear friend and the unofficial lawyer of TigerBait will be sponsoring our post-game show like he's done multiple years in a row. So, look, Golden Boot Pod, new show with the eyeballs. Yeah, it's something that we decided we're going to see if we can work up, and it's I think it's going to be easy to do. Let's see. I'm beating that like button. Says, Edward O got the crabs. Due to Rick's 12, I'm looking to see if LSU's defensive line is good enough to get pressure on the quarterback by themselves without blitzing linebackers. Mike, do you think the defensive line is capable of doing it? I do, but also think at times, like Coach House said the other day, you got to mix it up. You can't be predictable. You got to bring a linebacker here and there. I know Joquelin Roy, I think, has had a very good camp. We know what Mason Smith can do and is a terror. Singled out Ali Gay, B.J. Ojolari, Savion Jones. I can't wait to see him. You guys know I was high on Savion out of high school. I think he's poised to have a breakout. And so they've got some people there to make it happen. And if they can get the pressure on the quarterback, that's going to make the DB's job even better.
No doubt about it. 11, 0, 99, and 18 across the front four. BJ will stand up and beat a jack linebacker. He'll also put his hand in the ground and rush the passer. I am predicting BJ Ojolari to come close to 10 sacks this year. But they're going to double him just like they're going to double Butte receiving. Backup D-line, Savion Jones, 35, Makai Wingo, 92. Of course, Jacobian Gilry, 90. And we know that Desmond Little, number 8, has been working as the backup to BJ. And then let's not forget a guy you like, number 93. We've seen him. The guy from Madison Prep, the guy who was escaped almost a tragedy. Quincy, man, I'm so fired up for Quincy. And look, Bryce Langston is running with the threes. And so LSU at D-line, but it's a great question. Can you put pressure from the front four? And now I'm going to tell you who's going to be coming on the blitz. Number 3, Greg Brooks. He's going to remind people of the Honey Badger. Nobody's ever going to be the Honey Badger, but he's going to be a poor man's Honey Badger. Watch number 3 when they blitz him. He's going to be in the slot, and they're going to send pressure, but that front four, I think, is going to have their way in the second half.
You brought up that Quincy Wiggins deal.
Yeah.
That still makes my stomach just
That's why you got to believe in God, man.
You and I would be dead.
Oh, well, it's not.
And so it's, huh? I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
For him to get up and, like, you know, he had some minor injuries that didn't stop him from participating in spring football at all. It reminds me of the movie Unbreakable with Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, where Bruce Willis would get something like that happen to him, and Samuel L. Jackson's across town falling apart. Man, Quincy, that anytime I see that video, which sometimes it'll pop up on me, it just turns my stomach. He is so lucky. Let's see. Mike and Buddy, who is the meanest player on defense?
I said the biggest trash talker, of course, is Mekhi Garner, the cornerback. Oh, by the way, I mean, unless something happens, folks, we'll go through the rest of the lineup real quick on defense. Inside backers, Greg Penn III and Mike Jones Jr. I saw Blake got a bulge the other day when Harold Perkins got some reps with the ones, but he's running with the twos. Micah Baskerville is there. Wes Weeks is there. Kobe Fields is there. Man, they were building so much depth, and I told you this, and I think you agreed. When you play a lot of guys, and the starters like to play the whole game, but when you play a lot of guys, I think it's great for a rebuild. It's great for chemistry. But as we know, a lot of linebackers, and then with Kobe and Jared Bernard-Converse and, of course, Greg Brooks, Major Burns and Jay Ward as the two safeties, that's your defense. Sage Ryan is behind Greg Brooks in the nickel. And Seven Banks has been bothered, but he's coming back. Mekhi Garner has been taken over by Kobe. And look, man, I'm going to tell you what. Of course, Kobe Richardson and Brian Kelly had a little fun with himself explaining that he's coached a couple Dickersons. And then he called Jacoby and Gilroy. But once again, you and I were talking about, can you imagine?
Jacob Katera?
No, but can you imagine how many people that he's had to remember their names just
what did I do last night? I want to talk about John Emery, and I said Emery Jones first.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens.
But anyway, I think you're going to like this first and second team. I think you're going to play a lot of players, and the whole idea about it is this. When you rotate in, you keep everybody fresh. How many times do you see in a game, and a guy gets in to play 50 or 55 or 60, and he can't go 100%. So you bring in somebody, and you get his 100%. So I think you're going to see a lot of players play, especially early in the season.
Absolutely. Well, there you are. Thinking of buying a home or refinancing your current mortgage but haven't found a lender you can trust? Let me tell you about Tony Freeman with Assurance Financial right here in Baton Rouge. Dear friend of mine, talk about her each and every week. And many of my friends have used her over and over for their mortgage needs. Her knowledge and over 25 years of experience in the mortgage industry is unsurpassed. She offers a wide range of knowledge of home loan products, whether you're a first-time home buyer, ready to buy a new home, or you just want to explore your refinance options. Tony can guide you through your next mortgage experience. You can feel confident you're making the best financial decision with Tony as your guide. Not only is Tony a huge LSU fan, but Assurance Financial is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Call Tony today, 225-239-7150. Again, 225-239-7150. And please tell her that you heard about her right here on TigerBait. Do me that favor. Want her to know that she's getting the leads from TigerBait. NMLS number 104765. Equal housing opportunity, 70876. You got a lot of options in this city for real estate and mortgage and second mortgages and what have you. And trust me, you want to give her a call. Interest rates going up, housing markets stalling a little bit. And you want somebody like hers who's going to get you locked in, is going to help you get wrangle up all the paperwork you need, and she's going to get you closed quicker than anybody. And so give her a call, and please tell Tony that you heard about her here on TigerBait.
Consummate professional, dots the I's, crosses the T's, $1 million smile, and once again makes you feel comfortable when you meet her and do business with her. And oh, by the way, I'm in such a great mood tonight. If it's okay with you, next Wednesday night on our show, we're going to take predictions on who's going to score the first touchdown. Now, you can look at the chat and see who's going to be the first one. Oh, guys, don't get upset if it's old Danny Girl or Nurse Court or any of these other great lady listeners, but I'm going to throw $25 on a Zelle Pay app to somebody who is the first one to predict next Wednesday night in this show who will score the first touchdown for LSU on the night of September 4th, 2022.
I'm going Noah Kane.
I don't think he should know. You're not eligible to win the 25.
I know, but I'm going Noah.
I'm sorry.
Or I might go Jaden Daniels, but I think it's going to be a run.
Yeah. Well, look, you got next week, and we'll open that up at about 7:30, and the first one that gets the right answer, you can chronicle all this, right? We'll see.
All right, let me scroll up and get to some more of your comments. Guys, if you're enjoying the show, as always, please hit the like button and share the show to your Facebook, your social media, your Twitter. It really helps us. Thank you guys for doing that for us each and every week and spreading the word about TigerBait Live and our YouTube channel as a whole. Trey Potan, Mike and Buddy, what's different in this camp from last year that gives us all great hope?
Night and day. No disrespect to anybody else. But if this feels like UCLA, you better get your head out your butt.
I just think it's very organized. They're not look, I'm never going to say that Orgeron ran kids into the ground because he didn't. And there were some very good coaches on Orgeron's staff. But I think there's just a huge difference. And, you're allotted – I would love to know this figure, and probably if one of us asks Brian Kelly, he'll tell us. I mean, you're allotted so many hours, and now that school started, you're allowed 20 hours. Mm-hmm. But I would love to know how often they actually had so much time allotted for practice and stopped early. I bet you we'd be surprised.
Well, it just gave I don't ever remember a coach in fall camp giving them 2 days off. Brian Kelly doesn't like them to practice on the first day of school, which was Monday. But, look, I was not, disrespecting anybody from last year. But it's totally different. Wash 20 and 21 from your memory. I'm not going to talk about the OC, the DC, the head coach, the players, the injuries, none of that. It's not even in the same stratosphere. So this is the new LSU, and the only similarity that you have is Brad Davis is back. Of course, he was the only coach retained. But, Mike, I think that as we have seen, the organization, the speed, the cleanliness as far as how clean they are on the football field, look, it's just, you always have fear about the first game. I think people are going to be very impressed about how organized they are. Is there going to be a bad snap, center snap at some point? Yes. Are they going to miss a PAT time to time? Yes. But I like the way this team is rounding into shape, and people forget. You talk running backs, you talk wide receivers, you talk tight ends, you talk quarterbacks, you talk defense. I don't think the nation knows that LSU is going to play with a chip on their shoulder. They're kind of like a sleeping giant, and if that doesn't piss off every one of those players for the first time since 2000 not to be in the top 25, and we know the rankings don't mean anything early, but I'm going to make this prediction tonight. LSU will be in the top 25 after 2 weeks, maybe after 1 week.
They could be there the next day. 2 days later.
Yeah.
There's a game on Monday, like we said today, and then the polls will come out on Tuesday.
Everybody in the country gets to see them. That's the only
Sunday
game on college football. They can make a statement, and we're not going to do that silly thing that Texas did, screaming, "We're back," because they beat Georgia after Georgia had gotten probably rip-roaring and drunk for 3 days in New Orleans, in Bourbon City. But, look, bottom line is, folks, you're going to be impressed. This is the kind of question I have for you, and I know the people out there probably want to know. What do you think Brian Kelly is going to be like on the sidelines in the Superdome in his first game? You know that place is going to be rocking.
Well, all you have to do.
What kind of mannerisms?
I think he's going to be no different than he was at Notre Dame. LSU played him twice. We've seen him. I think he's probably a guy that has to look back on things, because he's got a job to do. He's not able to live in the moment or take it all in. He's got to digest it after the fact. But he'll probably be a guy like, man, wow, wasn't that something? It'll be like that in post game if they win the game and it's a crazy night in the Superdome. But
I think he's happier. I think he is living life. He's living large and loving life. I had a buddy of mine used to say,
well, look,
he's living large and loving life. Look at this contract. But that's not why he's doing it. He's rebuilding this thing, and he now has things at the palm of his hand he's never had before, Mike.
You brought it up earlier. Things had gotten stale.
Yep.
And so, there's a lot of people in this chat. Maybe you moved from a neighborhood on one side of Baton Rouge to Prairieville, from Prairieville to out by LSU Lakes, whatever it is. And all of a sudden you're going to a different gym. You're going to different grocery stores. You're eating in different restaurants. New job and and friends from work. That stuff's just healthy for you. And so just the change of all that and him being down here and the culture difference and the food difference and the way people approach him when he's out and about. I saw photos on Facebook the other night. He was over at Gino's eating dinner the other night. I mean, he looked like he was as happy as anybody you've ever met.
They love him at Baton Rouge Country Club. He fits in like a glove. I mean, this man is happy. And, the Notre Dame people got after me and said, you're so crazy, you're psychotic, a happier Nick Saban. Look, I'm not saying he's going to have 7 rings on his finger when he finishes here. I am saying he believes in the process. He's very meticulous relative to what he has over here and what he's going to bring in, Mike. Brian Kelly's having the time of his life, and I think he'll tell you that.
Well, you brought his name up. Does he coach all the way to 2030?
Who?
Saban.
No.
New contract to 2030?
No. But he deserves to be the highest paid coach, and of course, Nick got that. They did not add that, but they gave him a lifetime Little Debbie contract. He never has to pay for another Little Debbie.
PCG and why is nobody excited about Denbrock being the play caller? Look, I talked to Notre Dame.
Kelly is.
Look, I talked to Notre Dame people. I mean, Denbrock and Kelly had their differences before Denbrock left for Cincinnati. And so, but, those coaches, I mean, they're like brothers now. I mean, so that's going to happen. I mean, Jimbo Fisher wanted to take Les Miles' head off in 2005. I think they're on the same page. But now you insert Joe Sloan in the mix.
Yeah, but
it's not just those two.
Well, I know, but look, Denbrock and Kelly will get together and decide what to call. But I just think when I heard Coach Kelly talking about what they were going to do on offense yesterday about playing fast and utilizing this talent, I think they are like kids in a candy store. Now you've got to make that determination and make the right choice at quarterback. We know that. But if they make that right choice, what we said, Dellinger's got to come around at center. That box has been checked. If you can solidify what you want to do on your big uglies on the offensive line and keep both quarterbacks happy and invested and have a knack. Look, Garrett Nussmeier, if he doesn't play in the first game, you can book it. He'll play in the second game because there's going to be a lot of opportunities to get a lot of guys in. You want to get those guys in because it's good for motivation. And if somebody gets hurt, you want to make sure he's had a few reps. But Denbrock, I want to wait to see, but I'm kind of chomping at the bit. I think they're going to show the people of the country a little bit more than they're asking for and with their reputations, which has been what? Conservative, stoic, and all that. I think you're going to see a little dancing on the sidelines, probably by the players. But did you think Brian Kelly would dance in Notre Dame? Baby, you come to the SEC West, Nick Saban was dancing for the last 20 years.
Yeah, but he's doing he's doing line dances.
Yeah, but guess what? That's what he had to do to get a 5-star. You do it. So, hey, and you Tiger fans, cocktail up, be safe in New Orleans, but in the second half, you're not going to hear a lot of this.
Golden Boot Pod, ask Mike and Buddy, have you seen how many coaches that Napier has on his staff? I haven't seen it. I mean, look, LSU's got a lot of staff members. I don't know what the numbers comparisons are, but I just hope that Brian Kelly's able to stop Corey Raymond from cleaning out Louisiana the way he's been so successful.
Look, no disrespect to Florida and Napier, but I've been balls to the wall for LSU, and that's what I care about. I worry about Florida and Napier the week that they play. I know Pooh Bear and them pretty much do a more of a general, and they cover the full gamut, and those guys all do a good job. But right now, the one thing that I did hear, Anthony Richardson, their star quarterback, has not taken kindly to this new offense. So I'm going to make this prediction right now. I think LSU beats Florida in the Swamp this year.
Rodney Frost, Mike and Buddy, first-time listener, freaking awesome show, guys. I've subscribed and liked. Thank you very much, Rodney. Found my go-to show to watch on the tube. Thank you, Rodney. Spread the word. Our YouTube channel is just taking off like a rocket. So thanks to you guys for tuning in each and every week. Absolutely.
We do really appreciate all of you with the comments and the viewers. And, oh, by the way, real quick on the offense, we don't know if they've made a determination on who's the five that they're going to start, but I think they were leaning towards, of course, Dellinger at center, Miles Frazier at left guard, Will at left tackle, moving over, excuse me, Bradford inside at right guard and Cam Wire at right tackle. Then you got both Taylors that are going to play tight end, Cole Taylor and Mason Taylor. We know Butte, if you said 3 wide receivers, to open up the game. Butte, Besh, Neighbors, Jeray Jenkins, there's 4, so those are the top 4. Then don't sleep on Brian Thomas Jr., Kyle Lacey, who got a pop out from the coach yesterday, and of course Chris Hilton, if he can ever get those hammies to work and not act up. That's 7 right there.
I really want Chris Hilton to get healthy.
I want to see that guy.
He's a great young man, and man, that speed.
But look, you heard it from more than a few people. That offensive line is done appreciably better. And so
the word I got from Saturday, talking to several former players, is the LSU offensive line had a strong day against the number 1 defensive line.
Yeah.
Now, I'd flip that around like Brian Kelly says. One day, one unit has the best of the other, and so maybe that was just the O-line's day. But there was this person said to me, the offensive line is going to be very good. So we'll see. I mean, I've always thought they're going to be good and get better each and every week. He also said that he thought Will Campbell would take his lumps once SEC play gets here. Mm-hmm. But you expect that from a freshman. You expect him to look, like an all-SEC freshman, and a freshman All-American possibility. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to face a senior edge rusher for one of the big boys later in the season that, gets him off balance and gets to the quarterback every now and then.
And, of course, folks, all of you know this. You don't ever really know what you have, Mike, until you play somebody else. They've been beating up on these guys. I think everybody should take notice that the great coaches know you can't leave your team with dead legs going into the opening game. And we've had examples of and Les Miles and Jerry DiNardo and other coaches through the years that, quite frankly, were not smart as far as getting those guys ready for the opening game. So I think you're going to be very impressed with the way they look physically. You're going to be very impressed with their speed. And as we know, but we're really not going to know anything about how good this team possibly could be until you line up against the Seminoles. And, hey, let's give those their fan base.
There's a bunch of them in the chat right now I'm seeing.
And look, I think this is a beautiful thing. I had a great relationship with Bobby Bowden many, many years ago, and they were coming in.
He would come on your show a lot.
All the time.
Bobby Bowden used to go on Buddy's show all the time.
And, of course, the people started getting pissed off because he started getting Sean Jackson out of New Orleans and Warrick Dunn and Travis Minor.
Seymour.
Yeah. And so, but I think it is Bobby Bowden used to always tell me, Tallahassee and Baton Rouge have a lot of similarities. He looked at this job many years ago, but I kind of
Of course, his famous line is right there with Bobby Knight's Dale Brown line.
What?
I thought about the LSU job. It was a dream job, but then I realized, why would I take that? I've been beating them.
Well,
it was something to that effect.
Yeah, but the other thing is why would I want to jump into the water of the SEC when I can win it almost every year in the ACC?
But when was the last time they tried to get him?
Oh, gosh. I mean, it obviously.
would have been 88.
No, it was maybe
Or-
88, 89, 90, somewhere in that neighborhood, somewhere like that.
Was he or was he approached when they hired Hallman?
No, I
I'm getting a little hazy now on that.
Yeah, well, it's hard to remember, but look.
But the 88 was.
Bottom line is, all you Florida State fans, I'm just going to give you one little tip. Seriously, don't try to get your ego in the way and try to outdrink each other with hurricanes. Now, look, hurricanes are not something that we like to mess with.
Yeah, go ahead and drink all of them you want on Saturday night because you're not going to make it to the Dome on Monday, and LSU fans will be glad to buy your tickets for you
Well, but
because they're full of sugar and you're going to be throwing up.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, enjoy the sights and sounds. Watch where you're going. Know your surroundings. Enjoy people from LSU. And this is why people love college football so much. They're going to New Orleans. Tennessee people are coming into Baton Rouge. Mississippi State people think they're going to. Everybody's undefeated. So for those Florida State fans, I hope you know we welcome you into the state, of course, in the Superdome. But just be careful because LSU fans like to have their libations, and they're going to be getting up into those Seminoles fans in that second half, screaming Tiger.
What's the word on the hotel? Is there an issue getting a hotel this late down there? You think?
I don't know.
I think most
details.
LSU fans are probably driving in that night,
Yeah.
but
We'll see. But welcome to the SEC, Florida State fans.
Dane Bergeron with a super chat. LSU tried to hire Bobby Bowden after Stovall was fired, but I don't think that was the last time.
Yeah.
I want, 88 was famous because they turned down Spurrier and Mike Shanahan.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? There was some other crazy one in there.
Yeah.
But it was Bobby Bowden in that 88 mix too.
I look like I
But I want to say he was in the next round after when Hallman got the job, and that's when he said the line. I think early 90s.
Well, look, and this is a beautiful thing that I love.
Arnsparger really did LSU a solid, didn't he?
What's that?
Arnsparger really did LSU a solid.
Well, but they went 5-7 last year. This is year 3 for Mike Norvell. He's a good football coach.
Thank you for the super chat, Dane.
And Dane, thank you. My goodness, I tell you what, Mike's going to be able to buy him a new set of drumsticks here tonight. But look, you want to believe that your team is going to come in here to New Orleans and tear that tiger tail up. That's the beautiful thing about it. They think they're going to win the game, and LSU fans, you know how it is. Next week, man, everybody's going to say.
Well, it would be a big win for them. I mean, when was the last time they had, even though LSU's not ranked, when was the last time they had a win like that to really catapult a season for them?
Yeah.
Nurse Court, got my hotel 3 weeks ago, 2 blocks from the stadium, and just had notification about 25 shots fired last weekend outside of Canal Street. There you go.
Be smart, be safe, and once again, enjoy that ball game in the Superdome. Hey, is it going to be a sellout, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to make this prediction, although Verge has already said it. Can you imagine? Look, this LSU Southern ticket is going to be
I said that. I said that before him.
But I know you.
I mean, guys. People know I lived in Lafayette for years. I remember when the Cajuns. I don't know. Maybe it was 20 years ago. They maybe it was 15. They put Southern on the schedule. Well, the reason why they did that is because they needed that was back when the NCAA was saying you had to have so many people in the stands to stay in Division I.
Yep.
Well, they put Southern on the schedule for that reason. Anytime Southern would go to McNeese and Lake Charles, they would pack the stadium. And so they support their team. They're going to bring the band. It's a historic game.
Unbelievable.
To me, it's going to be, there isn't going to be an empty seat. I don't believe it.
No. So, and then you talk about the first 2 games, and then, folks, the first litmus test of the year, in my opinion, no disrespect, Seminoles. I think you're going to, that point spread's going to go up. LSU's going to be 5.5, 6-point favorites in cover. You beat Southern, but have an incredible week. And then Mississippi State on the night of September 17th, 5 o'clock. That is the big one because the last time they came in to Tiger Stadium in 2020, Bo Pelini did not change defense, did not do anything, played press man-to-man and got lit up for 623-plus yards. That ain't happening anymore, folks.
All right, guys, we went an hour and 10 minutes. Please hit the like button, subscribe, notification bell on the way out, and go to TigerBait.com right now. Subscribe. Try us out for $1. Choose the annual package, and we've got a lot more coming your way on TigerBait. Right before we went live, uploaded Brian Polian's full press conference. You can check that out. He had a lot to say about kicking, punting, special teams, and personnel. We were listening to a bit of that before we went live. So, all right, guys, we'll be back here. I'll be back here Saturday with a practice report, and that'll be our last one of fall camp. And so Parker knows when I'm signing off every time. All right, guys, good night. See y'all on the other side.